Scott Kurtz? No. I'm a cartoonist. I'm 47 years old. I live in the Pacific Northwest. I'd like to welcome you all to my midlife crisis that I will be having on stage this evening. So I've done these before, and I want to say they started at like the first PAX East, wasn't it? It was like one PAX East where it was in a mall. Do you guys remember that? That was the first one, right? Yeah. And I got drunk before it, and then I just vomited out truths and stories. And then at the end, after I sobered, I was like, please, no one tell anyone that I said these things. And no one did. No one did. And so it just became a tradition where, now we're streaming it, so I come in very privately, vomit up truths about my life that I probably shouldn't tell anybody, in the hopes that you guys can feel better about your lives. So it's been an odd year for me. It started with me going to Dallas, Texas. All right. Apple juice. You want some? I need another cup for Bree. Who needs some apple juice? If anyone can bring me. You only had 3? I'll get you some. Do you have a cup? Anyway. Sorry with me. And before we start, everything's good. Everything is good. Okay? Things are better than they've ever been. I don't mean just for me. I mean for everyone. There's a lot of people trying to tell you differently. I know you're hearing it on the news. Everyone's terrible and the world is burning. A little bit, but things are better than they've ever been. And I don't think enough people notice that, okay? And I saw an interview recently with the guy who wrote Love Actually. Who loves that movie? Exactly. And many of you are lying right now and did not raise your hand. But he said he had no preconceptions about how good his movies are, but that when someone writes a really gritty movie where terrible things happen and people do really, really terrible things to each other, which happens in the world but not very often, it's lauded as this gritty look into what the world is really like. But when a movie like Love Actually comes out with people loving each other, which happens every day, all the time, everywhere, it's called a Pollyanna, delusional, look at life. And what he said was he saw the good news as like the tortoise and the bad news as the hare jumping around. If you ever worked in a newspaper or known anyone that does, there's a phrase, if it bleeds, it leads, right? So no one reports that no one died in Malaysia today. But I'm sure someone did, but things are better than they've ever been, okay? And everyone struggles. You know this because you've been studying. I'm studying. You are studied. But everyone's suffering. Everyone has trouble. But the lights are on, and if you turn on the radio, someone's talking on it, and everything's running, and planes are going places, and the trains are on time, and it's a miracle, and no one notices. And we have fucking supercomputers, and they will turn on us one day and oppose us, or oppress us. It's inevitable, but it's amazing. Anyway, I'm telling you this because I found out earlier in the year something about myself that I didn't want to admit, but it's true. I'm an influencer. I'm influencing you right now. You will all be incepted tonight in this very room. You out there, buy my books. But yeah, I found myself on a panel in Redmond, Washington, during a Intel Buzz Dev who knows, game dev. And I was there because they wanted to talk to video game companies about working with influencers, and I was the influencer. That's what I was on stage for. And so everyone's talking, and I was there a little bit early with Eric, who works at Codename Entertainment, who just put Binwin in their game, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realm. And you can come to my booth and see the game. What's our booth number? 7609? Thank you. Sorry for pooping. Also, I'm going to be all over. I was going to be all over the place before the apple juice. I'm going to be all over the place. So you're going to have to try to follow. Take notes and then compare later. But I'm on stage and the guy goes, so Scott, how did you become an influencer? I was like, what did I say? That's right. I said, I'm not an influencer, I'm a cartoonist. I've been trying very hard to not be an influencer, but you guys keep insisting I am one. And what scared me about that panel, and what I want to talk to you guys about tonight, is influence has become a commodity, like to a really, really scary level. And I don't like it. I'll profit from it eventually, a little bit. But, like, I don't like it. And what really scares me and it freaks me out, and to everyone out there watching who runs game companies, I don't know what the fuck you're thinking, hooking your quarter on these influencers. They make nothing. They're 20 fuck years old. They're proto people. I didn't even know who I was until 46, and that was last year. Personal support structure, unknown. Professional support structure, unknown. And their whole job is being online constantly in the hopes that a fickle audience will not decide they're not cool anymore. And the platform gives zero fucks about them. I'm sorry, Twitch, zero fucks about these kids. Because when you take an 18-year-old and you make them more famous than Elvis for 10 minutes and give them $1 million, no shit, they're going to start doing crazy shit like dropping the N-word and taking pictures of dead people and stunning rats and driving their car into oncoming traffic. Like, these kids, to no fault of their own, have no advocates. You cannot give an 18-year-old that many people that think that they shit sunshine and $1 million, and that's on the low end, and expect it not to be a disaster. And none of these companies give a shit. Oh, the platform's neutral. Fuck you. You're a media company and you have responsibilities. Good night. Ain't gonna get better than that. It's only downhill now. It just drives me nuts. It just drives me crazy. And the thing is, like, I have people come up to me, like today, come up to me and say, you know, back in the 90s, you did some really questionable strips. Or you said, like, your strip had the word fag in it. For real. Like, for a while, Jade's character was, I'm the girl, these guys. Like, that was the depth of her character. And we've never taken those strips down. They're all there for them to read. Eric's wife recently read through all of PvP. In the beginning was kind of like, I don't know. And I don't blame her. But he said to me, I really appreciate how hard you've worked to grow, to change. And I was like, well, I mean, it just kind of happened. And he was like, no, it means a lot. You should know it means a lot. I'm like, well, yeah, I want to be better. And he's like, no, like, it's important to me that you did that. Fuck. I mean, that's a lot, right? I mean, that's a lot. You can't just brush that off. Like, I influenced him. Dare I say, I incepted him. But I didn't even know it. One time at a PAX, a guy came up and said, I don't even know if I can tell this story. But he handed me a patch. This was his Air Ranger patch. He was like, I was wearing this patch when I decided I wasn't going to kill myself. Why? Because his wife sent him Ac Inc. on CD. And he's like, well, if I kill myself, then I can't have fun like this. And he gave me his patch. I don't know what to do with that, but I have to do something with it, right? So that's why a lot of times when I talk like this and I post on my website and I say shit I probably shouldn't say because someone will remember it and use it against me eventually, I guess, but I don't give a shit. As long as she still loves me, that's fine. But there's a responsibility to it. And right now, so many of you are so desperate. And I hear the word, because, so I guess I'm really not that old. I'm pushing 50, but, we didn't have these problems when I was your age in the 80s. But so many of you right now that are young, identity, that word, identity, everywhere, identity. And it comes from this place, and, I get really old and pissy about it, and you can ask Corey. I get really old man about it and go, shut up. But it comes from a place of, and it always comes from the same place, which is some kid going, God damn it, I exist. I'm here. I don't know how to not be this. Please, give me a group, give me a tribe, give me something. And my fear is that right now, in a world where influence is this commodity, there are entities out there looking for that because they can go, well, I see you, so you join my group, and then you're a member of this tribe. Anyone outside is trying to hurt you, so we hate them. It just fucking drives me nuts. And what I don't think enough people are telling these kids is that, it sounds terrible, life is suffering, things fall apart, and they come back together. It's not that things are great and then something bad happens, Things are good, then they fall apart. Then they come back together, and then they fall apart. And so earlier this year, I was in Dallas. I'll get back to that because we were planning on moving my dad to Seattle. It was time for him to sell his house and get a condo up here and be close to us because he really wasn't taking care of himself, and I don't really think he's eating 3 meals a day. And there was a little piece of paper hanging on his wall that said 3 more points, and he loses his license, and so we wanted to keep a better eye on him. So my brother and I go to Dallas, and we're going through the house, 30 years of memories and just a bunch of shit he kept, and my brother gets the flu. So he can't leave. We're stuck there like an extra 3 days. And so the day we're going to leave, my brother comes and wakes me up and says, call 911, Dad's having a stroke. And I go, what? And he goes, I walked into the living room, and Dad's standing up, and he's saying, my left side's wonky. So I told him to lay down, call 911. Oh, he had a stroke. So, and if Brian hadn't gotten the flu, we wouldn't even been there. Which, the seed of Catholicism that was planted in me when I was incepted was like, oh, that's my mother, or oh, that's Jesus, right? He kept us here. Then I had to go, no! Boy, that Catholic. Is anyone else raised Catholic? Okay, put your hands down. How many of you had this experience? This is just a sidebar. I'll come back to this strokey story. How many of you had the experience when you walked into a different church and there was this long-haired, bearded guy that was happy up on the altar like a statue? And you're like, who the fuck is that? And they're like, that's Jesus. And you're like, but he's happy. And they're like, yeah, that's Jesus. And I'm like, no, Jesus is this guy. Oh. Maybe if I move my weight to this. Nope. The spear got me here. Oh, Scotty. Oh, it hurts when you touch yourself. So much. That's our Jesus. I don't know who this guy is. The risen Lord. We don't hear about him. Well, on Easter. But he didn't stay up there very long. Right back on the cross. Apple juice. So, anyway, that little Catholic seed. But so anyway, Dad strokes out. He goes in the hospital. Doesn't give a shit. Dad is like, how you doing? Fine. Are you upset? Nah. You're not upset? Ah, it's bound to happen. Statistically, I was going to have another stroke because he had one in 2011. All right, well, so our buddy comes out. He's been my dad's financial planner. Gives us everything to do. Just sweetest guy. Immediately came and supported us. Here are the 10 things you need to do. Brian's got to get back because he's got like a kid and dogs and responsibilities and a job that's real. And then I have the more flexible job. I can work from anywhere. Nope. But I had to. So I stayed, and Dad was in therapy and did all this whole 2 weeks of rehab, and I'm watching him learn to walk again and pick shit up with his left hand and remember what the fuck the number 2 is. And this lady sits me down, and she looked older than fucking Methuselah. And she's like, I'm your father's caseworker. And I'm like, when does your fucking therapy end? Jesus Christ. And she's like, so he's going to need this and he's going to need that. And someone's going to have to watch him all the time. And he can't drive anymore. And he's not going to be able to feed himself. And I'm just like, ugh. And she's like, yeah, so this is your life now. I was like, ugh. Just punched me right in the stomach. Fuck me. And, I've got a good support group at home, and my brother's right up the street, and my wife's amazing, and all right, so Dad's going to move in with us, and we make all these plans, and blah, 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 and then, we get him out of there, and he's walking, and all of his therapists love him, and he's doing great. Get him home, start outpatient therapy. Now I'm driving to this place every day, and he's doing more advanced stuff. Now he's picking up multiple things with one hand, and he's walking, and he's doing great. About 3 days into outpatient therapy, he goes to get up and stops. And he goes, Scotty, I have to pee. And I'm like, then go fucking piss, old man. Why are you announcing it? He's like, I can't. I'm like, why? He goes, well, my left leg is not responding to me. Third stroke. Right back in the fucking hospital. Inpatient therapy again. I'm never going home. I will never see Seattle again. I live in Dallas now, which was built on a fucking hellmouth. So as soon as I could, man, as soon as he was ready, got him home. Doctors are like, well, maybe he needs more of a blood thinner than just aspirin. I'm like, you fucking think? You think? Because third stroke, asshole. Ugh. Anyway, this sounds really terrible, but it's challenging. It's life. Nothing, any 12 of you in this room aren't going through now or won't go through eventually or know some. We all go through this stuff. But it just kicked me in the head. And one of the things I got that helped me get through it was my oldest friend in the world, Rob Schiebel, that I've known since the 5th grade, immediately gets on a plane, always comes to see me. I never do this for him. He always comes to see me, hangs out with me immediately. Let's go to the bookstore, So, just like he did when my mom died. When my mom died and I was 24, he goes, we're going to the bookstore. And then he goes, here you go, Carl Sagan, Demon Haunted World. And I was fixed. Demon Haunted World. Because the funniest thing about my mom dying was this train of thought. Well, Mom's a good person. Dad's a good person. They never cheat on each other. They're not horrible to each other. They do their work. They've raised 2 kids. They take care of the people that they love. My mother and dad have always taken care of everyone, even if they don't barely know them. They've done all the right things. They're going to be fine. 54 years old, Mom's gone. The fuck? What do you mean she's gone? She did everything she was supposed to. She did it all right. Which, saying it out loud is insane. But that was there. It was in the back of my head. Mom and dad are doing everything right. They're good people. They'll grow old together. And then that illusion was shattered. And that's what's really fascinating about Buddhism, is that when the rug gets pulled out from under you, that's when all of your illusions of control are shattered. And then all that's left is truth. So it's only when you're at your lowest that you can really understand the truth of things, which is great news for everyone, because, spoiler alert, the country right now, we are at our fucking lowest. Bam. Welcome. But here's... the apple juice is affecting me. I've got that nice apple juice sweat sheen. How can I be half German and half Italian but not be able to handle apple juice? But it's true. You're bad influences. Never learned your names. Never learned your names. Bring me booze every time. Glasses and beardy. Thank you for the booze. You don't even care. You'll keep bringing it. I've learned nothing. Have I lost you? Are you having a good time? Okay. That's enough. I'll keep going. Everything's great. Yeah. So what I want you guys to know is that there's an evil cabal looking to pit you against each other. And if you take nothing else away from The Last Jedi, shut up. It was good. I'm sorry. I know you wanted him to go, and all the AT-ATs went, Pleh. You don't get it. It doesn't make a good movie. It's just fan service. Write your fan fiction, jerk off, get it out then. Rian Johnson wanted to make a compelling movie, and Luke was right. The Jedi fucked it up. They did. Sidious, Jedi. Look. Don't tell me Luke wasn't right, because when A New Hope started, which everyone agrees is a great movie, Obi-Wan's practicing crate calls on Tatooine, and Yoda's living in a cave, on a swamp next to a dark side caves that gives him the shits. It did not work out for the Jedi. Anyway, if you take one thing away from Last Jedi, it was that one character, Benicio del Toro's character, is like, he's kind of an asshole, but he was right. Just get off the fucking wheel. Both sides are wrong. The resistance is wrong. It's all a war. The war's war. But I'm really concerned for you guys because there's just these weird forces at work now. And look, okay, on the right is super easy to avoid these knuckleheads, right? Like, we all have conservative people in our family and conservative people whose views are not a problem at all. And then it gets a little bit further along and you're like, okay, well, we can't talk to grandma on Thanksgiving about the neighbors, but other than that, we love her. And then it starts getting wonky really fast. And they're identifiable immediately because they're fucking loons. So when you're like, I wonder if I can be friends with this guy, and he's like, all brown people equal bad. You go, nope, put him in this box of avoidance, super easy. But the problem with all the nuts on the left is they all come from this place of compassion, and it's real hard to identify who the troublemakers are, because it's really seductive and it's really it comes from this place of advocacy, and it's got all the right words and the right ideas, and it's really compelling. But you got to learn to filter that shit, because they're all looking to influence you and pit you against each other. And I'm really, really concerned for you guys, because I want you guys all to do well. Anyway. I don't know why I care. I don't know you guys. You'll be fine. It's that fucking apple juice. I'm a sentimental drunk. I'm a sentimental, I don't know. Can you get drunk on apple juice? It's whiskey. It's been whiskey the whole time. I'm drinking whiskey. The finest Japanese whiskey. I'm available to do a commercial and influence others. Eric. Oh. Smooth. What else do I want to talk to you guys about? Here's a tip. I learned this during my pre-panel dump. Take this with you. It's going to change your life. All right? So afterwards, later this weekend, when you come to my booth, you can quietly tell me thank you. If you can't get the job done in 2 wipes, get in the shower. Right, Ian? I'm telling you. You're young. So your skin's thicker. Your butt can take a lot. But later in life, there's going to be lesions, there's going to be hemorrhoids. No one wants to be sitting in the tub, in a hot tub during PAX weekend. If you cannot get the job done in 2 wipes, it's shower time. Now, you could get a lid for your toilets, a bidet. They're cheap. You gotta do a little do-it-yourself and hook it up to the water supply. It will shoot water into your butt. Do this. Do it now. Order it on Amazon right now. If I do have the power to influence it, let me save your ass. In the meantime, don't get baby wipes. No. You're going to clog your toilet. You're going to piss off your wife or your mother. Regular toilet paper's fine. Brie, 2 wipes. If you can't get the job done, jump in the shower. Take care of that shit in the shower. Is it okay to pee in the shower? The fuck, Adam? You're empty? You want some more? Yes. Come here. Let me ask you a question. It's weird. You think it's weird. But let me ask you a question. Say you're walking down the street. Some drunk jumps out and goes, ooga wigga bigga boo, and pisses on you.
Also weird.
Okay, it's weird. What are you going to do? You're going to get in the fucking shower, Adam. Because that's how you get rid of urine. You don't just run around going, ah! I'm just eliminating the drunk guy. He said the toilet is pretty close to the shower. But when I'm in the shower and I didn't know I had to pee ahead of time, why wait? Boys, don't answer. Just know in your hearts, it's so much better to pee outside. And if you can, do it. I pee outside all the time. Because the dogs always have to pee when I have to pee. And then they take their time because they got to smell everything. But if I go outside with them in the dark and pee, and that cold air hits your dick. And all of a sudden you're like, it's primal. It's good. It is good. That's living. You gotta do it. Girls, fucking do it. Go try it. One time, I got into the habit, and this is previously when I had my first Basset Hound, Kirby, and he comes around the corner, and I'm pissing, and he goes, and he runs over where I had peed, and he looks at me and he goes, poof, and he peed on my pee. And I was like, you son of a bitch! So the next night, I was ready for him. And I stopped early, which is hard to do. And he came around the corner, whoa, poof, and I went, ha ha! And he went, poof. They always have extra pee. Always. They always have extra pee. You can't beat a dog in that. You just got to say, well played. But it's the journey, it's not the destination. I think. I've made him laugh. Are you happy, Corey? Corey's like, I know you want to be cathartic, but make him laugh. It's okay. I was telling Corey, like, I'm going to go up there tonight. I'm going to set them straight. And I'm going to tell them what they need to do. And I'm going to start talking to them about some crazy shit. He's like, punch up. Please punch up. Everybody, the people need to laugh. Let them laugh. Bye, Corey. I'll make them laugh. Transgenders. What are we going to do about them? Oh! It's really very simple. I don't know why it's so hard for everyone. If a person tells you their name, you call them by their name, because if you don't, you're being an asshole. So if a person tells you their name and then says, by the way, I'm he, him, call them he, him, or you're an asshole. Because, no, don't clap. You do not like my opinions on this. I'm telling you. I'm too old. I don't fucking get it. I don't want to get it. Go with God. But I'm telling you, it's not hard to not be an asshole. I don't get it. Also, no one wants to fuck you while you're peeing. No one gives a shit. If a nutbag is going to come into a toilet and do something to you, something was going to set them off eventually. A canceled check, a low-flying chopper, something. Has nothing to do with you. You were in the wrong toilet, the wrong shit at the wrong time. We go in there to piss and shit. That's it. We don't want to be there. No one wants to do that. Away. Did you spill the apple juice? Adam. Lick it up. I'm going to pee in your shower. I'm drunk and I'm not spilling it. Huh? Just hold it. Thank you. God, do you want some more? Okay. Good idea. Yeah, I'll never get that. Just now, if someone comes up to you and says, oh, hi, I'm Suzanne, and you call Suzanne her, and he gets mad at you, okay, or I guess. Look, I get it, but God damn it, I was taught these, and I gotta get the bread out of the oven. Like, we gotta agree on something. I gotta fucking get the milk. Like, like, what I'm saying is, like, it's like if I'm riding and I go, oh, I gotta take a right here, and they're like, no, it's called left now, and I'm like, fucking make a decision, Philip. Like, you can't change the rules on me mid-turn. Does that make sense? You get it. Wow, I got drunk on this apple juice quick. What I'm saying is, if you mispronounce someone and you didn't think about it, it wasn't your fault, and they get really, really mad at you, okay, you apologize, and if they still keep on it, at some point, I'm like, see, I told you wouldn't like these opinions. You clapped earlier, and now you want to, how do you unclap? Can't do it. I've taken that in now, and it's made me stronger. I'm just saying, like, at some point, I have work to do. I gotta get back to work. Can I just have my fucking change, please? I don't know why we got down this rabbit hole, is what I'm saying sometimes. Anyway, that's happened to me, so. I lost you. I was so good up to that point. It's because Corey left. And because you got me drunk. What are your names so I know? So we can tell the judge. Jordan and Daryl? I will never forget that ever again. Borden and Farrell. Thank you for the apple juice. How long have you been bringing us booze? Since that first Blam panel? I wanted cake? I asked for cake? That sounds like me. We had apple pie tonight, a la mode. Don't know if I'm pro a la mode or not. I like ice cream, and I like apple pie, but I don't know who decided to wreck it. Like peanut butter and chocolate, I get. Whoever came up with that, it made it better. But like, which am I having? Is it ice cream or pie? Really, you guys are yes on that? It does not gel for me. Adam, how do you feel about the whole pie ice cream thing? You're for it? And I can't pee in your shower. You are an enigma, Adam. Huh? I want to piss ice cream in your shower. Adam is the lead artist at Codename Entertainment, and he freaked me out, he and his friend Kenny, because they were like, oh, we've read PvP since we were kids. I'm sorry, it just makes me feel so old. When we were kids. Okay, teenagers, I can accept that. PvP turned 20 this year. 20. I didn't want to tell anybody. I've only been doing this for 38 minutes. Hasn't it been an hour? Superfan Ian. Trouble. Yeah, PvP turned 20, and we're going to be doing like a Kickstarter soon to collect every strip into books. It's going to be like the Fanographic Peanuts books, so like it'll be a bunch of books, like 3 years per book, and just go from the beginning all the way to the end. Corey says people want that. I don't know why, but apparently they do. And we haven't made a book in a long, long time. It's interesting because cartooning is such a weird career, and you can kind of earn tenure, right? Like PvP, I don't think at this point is going to get any new audience. Like it's probably not going to grow any more than it already has. But it will always kind of keep this baseline number of people that will always want to support it and love it. And like, name another career where that happens. Oh, that reminds me, something else I want to tell you guys about. So, part of my learning experience in the last 5 years has been learning about privilege and how I'm privileged, which was a huge revelation for me that started back when I still worked in the Penny Arcade offices. And I didn't really understand it at first. But I do now, I think. And for the longest time, like, conceptually I understand the fact that, like, for example, well, the easiest one, I'm white, right? I'm a white male guy. So, like, the whole world is made for me. Oh, I'm a white male Christian guy. So, like, growing up, all the cool people on TV, they look like me. And they have my same, they use my language, they use my vocabulary, they celebrate the same holidays as me, they practice the same religions as me. You know, everything was made for me. I never had to worry about that. And being born the gender that I was assigned never ever occurred to me. And I'm really kind of wonky on that because I have Kallman syndrome, which is super interesting. So my hypothalamus gland, I don't know if it didn't form correctly or the bones around it are weird, but like, so every 2 hours your hypothalamus goes hormones, hormones, hormones. It's its only job. And mine kind of goes, hormones? It didn't really do it. So like I only went through part of puberty and never knew it. And so one of the things that happens when you go through puberty, this is really fascinating, is the ends of your bones are soft tissue. And then when you finish puberty, it goes, okay, he's or she has grown as much as they need to, and that soft part of the tissue hardens, the bone hardens, and you don't grow anymore. But I never got that message. So my parents were not tall, but my brother's like 6'7", and his wingspan is as wide as he is tall. Our limbs just got really long. And so now one genetic click over to the right is Klinefelter's, and that's a chromosomal thing. That's kind of what boys are XY, right? So it's like, that's XXY. I'm not that. But I didn't find out until my 30s that like a normal male I don't know what the unit is, but the number is like, a normal male has anywhere from like 300 to 400 testosterone. I don't know, units. They have 300, 400 sperms of testosterone in them. Unit sperm. So they take my blood, right? And they're like, okay, we're going to test your testosterone. I'm like, so what do I got? And they go, 1. I had 1 testosterone. 1 sad little T. And so when I was in Texas, with the bad doctors, I guess they're just so worried about the homosexuals and the brown people, they don't focus on the medicine. I hated it there. But when I got to Seattle, where the real doctors are, that don't worry about that stuff so they can focus on their craft, they're like, why are you not taking shots? Why are you messing with the creams and the patches? And I was like, well, my doctors say the creams and the patches. They go, well, that doesn't work really well. But if you take a shot of testosterone, then you'll have as much as you need. And so my old doctor, like every month I'd have to come in and they'd test my blood and they go, well, we're going to change your dose. So I'm like, well, how often do I come in to get my blood tested with a shot? And they go, well, never. We know how much you have. We gave it to you in your muscle in a shot. And I'm like, oh, well, let's do that. Fuck. And my wife gives me the shot. She loves doing it. One time, she was gone out of town, and Corey was in town, and I said to Corey, you can give me the shot. And so Corey goes, yeah, no problem. So I drop my pants because I take it in my thigh, and he goes, okay, so I take the needle, and I put it in, and then I do this, right? And I'm like, no. In, plunge, out. Corey goes, relax, I know. So Corey, no different than any other time, in, plunge, out. And it goes, blood. We both go, ah! And all I could say was there an air bubble? 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 Because, they're always flicking it. And they're like, okay, we're going to give you a shot on the movies. That's because if an air bubble gets in you'll die. I'm like, oh, air bubble, air bubble. Corey goes, what? We're nowhere near a vein. Relax. But then I was getting the right amount of tea, and then this all happened. And, like, right before I went on stage for Act Inc., my voice Peter Brady'd. I was like, all right, guys, let's do this. So I went through puberty at 40, something. Not great. Because, ladies, hormonally I was 16, and my wife was 47, or in her 30s. She's 47 now. Not great. I also learned why all my friends were assholes when they were 16 years old. Testosterone is a shitty fucking hormone. I almost killed a guy in a Chick-fil-A. There was a long line, and he cut in front of me, and I was like, hey, man, we're all waiting in line. He turned around, and he goes, you'll be fine. Like he looked me up and down and went, you'll be fine, as if to say, Tubby. And I just went, I'm going to take you outside and murder you. And then my friend was like, we'll go through the drive-thru. Let's go through the drive-thru. And he took me outside, and I'm in the car, and I'm like, oh, what's happening? And, like, my neck was all hot, and everything was red, and he's like, that's testosterone. But what's really funny is now, when I go into the doctor to get my prescription, I can see them, like, they're trying to see the girl. Because no one takes this except for people transitioning. Right? Female to male. It's rare that anyone has what I have. So you can see them, they're like, okay, this is shots for tea. And I'm like, I have hypogonadism, I have Coleman's. And they go, oh. I was like, are you trying to see the girl? Are you trying to find the girl? That's not cool. But anyway, still, regardless of all that, I always identified male. I got the male genitalia. That's been easy. Even with all my troubles, that's been really easy. Never had to worry about it. Never. I mean, it's tough enough being a guy or a girl and wanting to love the other sex and how that awkwardness. Imagine if, oh, God. And they're all in school and everyone's an asshole. I can't imagine. But, so conceptually I get it, right? I get the privilege. But I will say this, the one privilege I have that I have seen and understand and feel fully, where I'm privileged over almost everyone else I've met, and I think that it's the number one reason that a lot of people are having trouble now, and they're saying this word identity a lot. The one advantage I've had, the privilege that I was born with, is I have never once questioned what I want to be. I've always known. 4th grade, first time I thought about it, I want to be a cartoonist. That's all I've ever wanted to be. That's been my plan since 4th grade. Never questioned it. Never listened to anyone telling me it was stupid. I've always known. And I've seen more people suffer from not knowing the answer to that question. I mean, when I went to college, everyone's like, oh, I just don't know what my major should be or what I should do. I'm like, how have you not figured this out yet? How can you be 18 and not know what you want to do? Like, I've always known. And my little brother, and he's always like, whoa, it's so easy for you. And I never got that. I would always get mad at him, like, fuck you, I work really hard. Oh, you've always been able to draw. Yeah, because I kept going and I kept drawing and I got better. But I know what he means now. I've always known what I've wanted to do. And if you don't have that, I just can't imagine. That's so tough. So I get it. I think I get it, why everyone is searching for identity. And I see it a lot when people are critical of me and my work. Not constructively but you can tell when someone's like, I didn't like that you did this, or I think this could be improved. And when someone's like, everyone likes Scott, I'll be the guy that hates him, and then I'll be famous for being the guy that said his stuff is shit. Not so much anymore, because I'm not that cool of a guy anymore like I used to be, but or as cool as I was before. But like, you can tell, like when they're coming after you, because then, and usually it's always someone that's also making something that's not getting as much traction. But like, that's an identity, right? So, have any of you guys watched Movies with Mikey? Okay, that guy is the bravest motherfucker I've ever met. Mikey, I mean, and the thing is, and he talks about it all the time, Mikey has MS, and he's had a stroke, and I think he's in his 30s. And that's not even why he's brave, in my opinion. Mikey is brave because he, every week, puts up content where he says, I love this because this is why. Not, here's why this is stupid, or I'm going to make a snarky thing about the honest trailer for this fucking movie and take it apart. These guys worked really hard on it. I appreciate it. I love it, despite its flaws. God, this made me feel good, and I want to share that with you. Do you know how fucking brave that is? That's nuts. That's unheard of. And I think that's why he's succeeding. I don't know. I knew I was going to come up here and rant tonight, and that's fine. I have no plan. I just really wanted to talk to you guys. This is the first con I've done this year, and I haven't seen a lot of you in a long time. But you can do that. Like, what I'm trying to tell you guys is, people are good, fundamentally. They want the same thing you want, fundamentally. And it costs you nothing to be kind to them. And that was just the hardest lesson for me to learn. And the other day, I saw a tweet, because when you do this for a living, when you create content for a living, you got to search your own name. It's just part of the business. So I occasionally check Twitter for my own name. Okay, narcissistic, maybe, but it's just, you got to do it. And someone said, I could probably read it. It was so brilliant. They really nailed me. My angry young man phase, they got it perfectly. Beep, boop, beep. Search. I've saved the search. Meep, meep, meep. Scott's a dick. Scott. Okay. Fun webcomics fact. The bitter divide between print syndicate guys and the webcomicers around 2000 was entirely Scott Kurtz beefing with everyone he could and acting as the representative of online comics as a whole. True. Did it. That's what I'm talking about. I was pissed off because the NCS told me I wasn't a real cartoonist and I couldn't be in their stupid club for jerks. That's true. That's all I ever wanted, was to be in the National Cartoonist Society, and when I applied, they said no. Not because I wasn't good enough or because I didn't meet the requirements, but because I wasn't a real cartoonist. So I declared war, and I tried to turn everyone against them. And apparently, for a while, it worked. Why did I do that? But I did it. And I issued a really fucking tough campaign. I tried really hard. And back in the early 2000s, there was a guy named Chris Crosby, and he had a webcomic collective called KeenSpot. Who remembers KeenSpot? Okay, so KeenSpot was really brilliant in that what he did was he took a lot of people in comics and put them together, and he kind of web-ringed their strips, okay? And everyone could do whatever they wanted on their website, and he would give them like different templates and stuff. But everyone had to have the box on their website. That was one trade dress that had to be there. There was a bar at the top for ads, and they ran ads at the top. Everyone had a box. And the box advertised other comics. So when you went to a KeenSpot comic and read that comic, you were getting an ad for another KeenSpot comic. And I had a lot of friends that were a part of KeenSpot, and a lot of them were complaining about how the box was rigged to favor people that Chris liked, and how the advertising was not really fair, and I just felt like these kids didn't have an advocate, and none of them, I was like, why don't you say something? Why don't you get together as a group and complain and tell KeenSpot, like, we don't want to do this. The box needs to be fair. We need a better revenue advertising, or percentage of advertising. Oh, well, no. So what did I do, Scott? Smart asshole that I was. I went online and talked about what a fucking piece of shit Chris Crosby was, and how KeenSpot cheated all their cartoonists, and something had to be done. And guess what? Everyone on KeenSpot was mad at me. They're all pissed off. And why wouldn't they be? That was their deal. That's what they had. And here I am succeeding, and I'm fucking that up for them. There's nothing productive about it. I had elected myself their advocate. And so, from personal experience, let me tell you, be careful who you let be your advocate. You're your best advocate. And right now, there are companies who have turned you into a product, and they have weaponized your social media. I know I sound like a nut right now. I know I sound like a nut, but I promise you. And look, I'm not saying Facebook is bad and you need to get off of it. I'm not saying Twitter's bad and you need to delete your account. I use Twitter too. Not the way I used to, because it was making me an asshole. But the technology is neutral, I guess. The platform is neutral, I guess. But if you take a little bit of time every day to just be with yourself, you can call it meditation if you want. That's what I call it. But if you just take a little time every day, take this thing, push it the fuck away, which is hard for me to do. I know everyone that knows me that's watching right now is like, this fucking guy. But just be with yourself and just be quiet. Just be still. I promise you it will pay dividends. I had a really, really dark time when I left, because I used to office out of Penny Arcade. I had a falling out with some people, and I was not on anxiety medicine yet, and I was just windmilling, Any of you that suffer from anxiety, you know what I'm talking about? How you can see one thing, and then it becomes another thing, and then you just start windmilling. You know what I mean? And Corey told me, come home, work from home, and, you have your home office. And I said, well, what am I going to do? I've ruined a lot of relationships, and I'm miserable. And he said, put your head down, do your work, don't worry about what anyone thinks about you. And my friend Dylan, who co-writes PvP with me sometimes, said, what other people think of you is none of your fucking business. Stop worrying about it. Just put your head down, focus on your work, and don't look up. And I'll tell you when it's time to look up. Side note, you're getting on Lexapro. So listen, modern medicine helped as well. I'm not going to lie. But I did that, and I think it was a little bit earlier this year that I finally lifted my head up, and the landscape had changed quite a bit for me. And people were approaching Corey. One cartoonist that I knew fucking hated me walked up to Corey and said, I think I like Scott again. There was nothing, it was so on the nose. It wasn't like anything that had to be decoded. We didn't have to crack the Rosetta Stone on that one. I think I like Scott again. And so I'm telling you, learn from my mistakes on that one. If I can influence you in any way, is just take that time to be with yourself and think about it and change your perspective. You know, mom and dad did not get to live and grow old together just because they were good people. That was in there. I needed that to kick me out of that perspective. And I don't know, man. I think good things are coming. I just think the future's bright for all of you. We just got to take care of each other. We really do got to take care of each other. And here's the only thing I can promise you, the only thing I can do for you and promise you is that you can come to PvP online and you can get a fart joke. You get a big troll farting, because I will never find that not funny. And you can come to Table Titans and you can see people that love playing D&D and love their friends. That will always be there for you. As long as you guys come and read it, I will draw it. And I'll come up with new stuff too. We'll make new things. But I'll try to always have that there for you so you can get a little break. But it will always be a fart joke. I was telling Adam today, my favorite PvP strip I ever drew was Brent took a box of Cheez-Its and wrote "The Cops" underneath it. And I do that to my wife whenever she buys Cheez-Its. As I get my Sharpie and I write "The Cops" under that. God, that is so funny. God, that is so funny. Cheez-It the Cops. So dumb. So dumb. Huh? It is the point. Yeah. It's good. Life is good, guys. It's going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. God, what a challenging year. My dad, everyone is telling me, oh, this pisses me off. People come up to me and they go, God, it's so amazing what you're doing for your dad. Because so Dad moved in with us. We have a 2-story home up in Bothell, and we turned the whole bottom of it, the whole bottom floor, into his apartment. And so Dad lives down there, but he comes upstairs and stuff too. He lives upstairs too, but we have this really deep couch from Restoration Hardware, I think it is. It was so dumb, that couch. But you cannot lay in that and not fall asleep. And so at night when we're watching TV and Dad lays on it, I go, "Are you going downstairs?" And he goes, So then I just get the blanket because he's not going downstairs. So sometimes he sleeps upstairs. But everyone's like, "Oh, it's so amazing what you're doing for your dad. I just can't believe what you've sacrificed." And I just get so pissed off at him. I get so mad because I am fucking terrible at this. I am fucking it up left and right. I lose my temper with him. I yell at him. Strokes are really weird, and brains are fucking fascinating. So he had an ischemic stroke, which is a blood clot, okay? And one of the things that comes with ischemic stroke is impulse control. You lose it. So if you ask my dad, "Frank, should you get out of your wheelchair?" This is when he was in the hospital and couldn't walk, "and walk to the bathroom on your own?" "No." "Why?" "Well, I don't walk very good right now, and there's a good chance I could fall, and the last thing we need to do is for me to fall right now." "Exactly. So, if you had to pee, what would you do?" And he goes, "Go to the fucking bathroom." "On your own?" "Yeah, I'll be fine." "What are you supposed to do?" "Call the nurse." "Why?" "I could fall." "What would you do?" "I go to the bathroom." So he loses that impulse control, right? So everyone at the hospital knows this because my dad's not the first stroke victim that's been through there. So in comes one of his therapists. "Oh, where's the people in charge of this room? Do we have to be out of here at 10? Huh? I'm fine? Okay. So in walks his therapist. And by the way, not that he was subtle before, but Dad lost all ability to be subtle about Pretty Women when his stroke went away. So in walks Alicia, who's his PT, and she's tall and thin, and she's got really short hair, and she's really tough and really funny, and she comes in, and Dad goes, "Oh, here's my girl, here's my girl." "Oh my God, Dad." She goes, "It's fine." And he says, "Alicia, are you married?" She goes, "No, but I have a boyfriend." He goes, "You have a boyfriend? You're not gay?" She goes, "Well, I'm not gay. Why do you think I'm gay?" And he goes, "Well, you have boy's hair." I go, "Papa!" And he's like, "Well, she cut her hair like a boy." And she goes, no, I just like short hair. I work out. It's a big pain in the ass, so I cut it. That's so smart. Alicia, that's so smart. He turns to me and he goes, right in front of her, I think I'm going to call her Bubble Butt. But not to her, in my mind. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah, I'll just think it though. So she told me this is just a part of a stroke. So my dad is doing stuff now, and so I'm working, and I'm drawing, and I'm on my Cintiq, and he comes in, he taps me on the shoulder, and I go, hold on a second, because I want to finish, what I'm doing. He takes the pen out of my hand and puts it on the table, my stylus. Turn around, I go, excuse me? And he goes, here. And he hands me fingernail clippers. And he goes, here. And some days I'll go, Dad, use your words. But recently I went, what the fuck is your problem? That is so fucking rude. Well, this one's bothering me. And then I just feel like a fucking asshole. Why'd I yell at him? So I'm not good at this at all. And I feel a big swell of guilt because I took him from his house and I took him from his dog. Well, not his dog. Fuck his dog. But I took him away from his independence, no more car. I took him away from all this. And my friends are like, well, the stroke took it away from him. I'm like, well, he's not mad at the stroke. He's mad at me. He didn't tell the stroke he felt kidnapped. He told me he felt kidnapped. And if you want to punch to the gut, wake up in the morning, fix yourself some breakfast, get ready to sit down and eat it, and then have your dad come up and go, oh, thank you. Okay? And then you go, all right, make yourself the next breakfast, sit down with him, and have him say, when I get back to Texas, when I go home, I just threw that breakfast away. I'm like, Dad, you are home. You know you live here right now. And he goes, well, but I might go back. I'm like, no, you can't go back. Why not? Okay. Are you going to take your pills every day? No. You going to feed yourself 3 times a day? You going to try to drive? Absolutely, I'm going to try to drive. No, you can't. You live here now. We set the whole thing. Well, yeah, but I mean, one day. And I don't know. Does he really mean when he goes home, or does he not know? So right now with my dad, there's a 50% chance that he's have a loss of impulse control or he's being an asshole. And I remember before the stroke, this happened a lot. So it's 50-50. So I decided I would just ask him. So now he'll do something, I'll go, stroke or asshole? And he goes, stroke. He's always honest. He goes, asshole. He's always honest with me, which I appreciate. He loves the Olive Garden. Jesus fucking Christ. The OG. And they have these kiosks on there, these little things. You can play games. Every time we sit down, he goes, Scotty. Hits the trivia game. Because they have trivia, and he's fascinated that, I'll come upstairs and he's watching a Western. I go, oh, fuck, McClintock. I love this movie. They don't make women like Catherine O'Hara anymore. And he's like, how do you know her name? I don't know. I just know all this shit. It's in there. Don't ask me to name the presidents or how our 3 branches of government work. But I know that Catherine O'Hara was in McClintock. And so he pulls this thing out in this little trivia thing. You're not playing against real people, although it tries to convince you that you are. And the questions are like, this robed gentleman lived on Tatooine. Obi-Wan Kenobi, come on. But, boom, 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 and then I win, and he goes, oh, my God, you won again. Scotty, that's why I love you. You're so smart. And I go, why else do you love me? Because when you don't know something, you say, I don't know. You don't make an excuse. You don't try to trick me. So I can trust you. And Angie goes, whoa. And I go, why else do you love me, Papa? And he goes, that's about it. I go, what? He goes, that covers it. That covers it. But it's a fucking new goddamn surprise every day. The other day I woke up, he's just standing over me. I'm in bed. And I kind of go, ah! And he's standing there holding his pajama pants up to here. He's holding them. The fuck? Dad, do we have Neosporin? Why are you holding up your pants? So they don't fall. Do we have Neosporin? Angie's, what's happening? What's going on? Do we have Neosporin? Yeah, the first aid kit in there. Dad, in there in the first aid kit. Okay. Turns around, walks in. Dad, what? Did you cut yourself? No. Then why do you need Neosporin? And he just looks at it and he goes, because I want Neosporin. Walks right out. Goes downstairs. We still don't know why. And he's like, most of the time, he's like, Scotty, you got to help me. You know, my brain doesn't work the way it does. And, you know, you need to let me know when I'm being, you know, inappropriate or a jerk. And, you know, he's very understanding. And then sometimes he just decides, no, I'm fucking Papa and I have authority and I'm pulling rank. And he tries, okay, I'll wrap it up. Well, the other day, we went to this cafe and he wants to pay. He goes, I'm paying. So he walks up to the counter and there's a guy in overalls, and he's paying. And Dad walks up and looks around the front of him, and he goes, "Ma." Just reaches right in front of the guy, hands the card. I go, Papa. And he turns to me and he goes, relax. I don't want to hear it. I can pay for my bill. I know what I'm doing. Hands the card. And she goes, okay, and takes it, and she goes, I'll get you right next. And Dad goes, walks out of the restaurant. Just walks out. And Angie goes, and just chases him. So, pay for the bill, take his card. I get back into the car, and I hand him, and I go, are you done? Yeah, here's your card. What the fuck happened in there? Well, he was paying with change. He was just pulling out coins. Who does that? My parents taught me to be prepared. That's why I have a card or cash. Who does that? I go, Dad. And I go, why'd you walk out? Well, then you yelled at me and I got flustered and I didn't know what to do and I got very confused and I left. But that guy was wrong because who pulls out change like that? I said, Dad, you got impatient. You made a mistake. I embarrassed you. You left. You were a jerk to that man. You should have apologized. And for someone who always wants everyone to be appreciative and understanding when you need extra time, you should understand. He goes, yeah, you're right. Thanks. Thanks for teaching me that. So it's not all bad. This guy's looking at his watch, so I got to go. Thank you so much for letting me rant. It made me feel better. Thank you for the apple juice. Take care of each other.